You're sure you're watching the right thing, right? Early. 7 a.m.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to The Early Edge. I am in sunny South Florida, and I got to say, I'm kind of loving it, but I'm loving what we've got on this show today. We've got so much to talk about, but before we get there, let's take a look at the recap screen while you all hit the like button. And by the way, thanks for being in here. 3-2. Listen, it's not a huge winning day, but it's a winning day nonetheless. Zach Simony, Larry Hartstein, our SportsLine prop, Austin Reeves, he gets ejected, but he was going under that 21.5 points anyway. 3-2. Listen, we'll take that every time, but we want to improve off of 3-2, and we've got the people to do it with. Let's bring in the stars of the show. We got Mackenzie Brooks. We got PropStarz. We got Mikey B. It looks like an intensive NBA day, but don't worry. We've got a hockey pick. We've got a golf pick. We got a lot going on. Mackenzie Brooks, I'm in your stomping grounds. How you doing today?
It's exciting. It's like weird seeing you in my seat here. I will say the chat is ecstatic to see arms in full like potential. This is very exciting for the chat. They're like, Sia has arms. So yeah, they're there, and we've been dying to see them, guys. So here they are in the flesh.
Do I got to do this? It's the thing. I wasn't expecting that prompt. I should have lifted before the show, but I'll do that tomorrow because the morning show is going to be from here tomorrow as well. You'll see me on CBS Sports Network and a bunch of the people you see on the screen throughout the day tomorrow on Friday. Mikey B, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, but I don't have the muscles like Sia has. Look at those big muscles. Wow.
Oh, man, that sounded straight from SNL. PropStarz, how are you doing? And where's Goose?
Good morning, Sia. Unfortunately, Goose is at PropStarz HQ. My friend Dylan actually has been kind enough to lend me his hotel room. So I am broadcasting from my buddy's hotel room. Shout out to Dylan. I'm fired up. The NBA All-Star break is over. We've got an excellent slate today as well.
Scorpion, I can't put the guns away. They're attached to me. I don't know what to tell you. Shout out to your friend there, PropStarz. All right, let's get started with some picks. And we got a lot of NBA picks, folks. And Mikey B, I love what you did with your picks because correct me if I'm wrong, but in honor of PropStarz, in honor of Goose, you've got a cat pick and a Caris LeVert pick. Talk to me.
Yeah, of course. That's exactly how I planned it, Sia. Thank you for bringing that up. First and foremost. So we're going to go to the Knicks Bulls game. We're going to do Karl Anthony Towns over 27.5 points at -110. Heading into the All-Star break, Towns had at least 40 points in back-to-back games. This is a great matchup against the Bulls. They've played at the third fastest pace. They have the fourth worst defensive rating in the league. He's faced them 2 times this season. First time, 46 points. Second time, 44 points. Nikola Vucevic plays 0 defense. One of the worst defensive centers in the league. I like Karl Anthony Towns to go over 27.5 points. And then we're going to do Caris LeVert over 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists at -105. The Hawks, they don't have much depth right now. They traded away DeAndre Hunter and Bogdan Bogdanovic. Vit Krejci and Larry Nance Jr. are both set to miss multiple weeks, so they're really thin right now. Since those two guys went down, LeVert logged at least 32 minutes in both of the last 2 games. He had at least 28 combined points, rebounds, and assists in those 2 games. That included when he faced the Magic, who he's playing again tonight. He had 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 assists in that game. I think he's going to play at least 30 minutes again, and I really like the over on his 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists.
All right. Shout out to Goose because that did seem like paying homage to him, or at least that's how I saw it. PropStarz, your reaction, any of those 2 picks before we get to your pick, any of those 2 picks you're leaning toward?
I do like the Caris LeVert look quite a bit. I think that's a very good number there. So, yeah, that has my full endorsement.
By the way, if you have any questions for Mackenzie or for Mikey B or PropStarz, when I'm in studio, I don't see the chat quite as well. So we'll have Ben put those questions up. So do not hesitate. And don't forget, hit the like button. Stephen Cook says, Kenz, I'm a Bulls fan. Can you find me a bet so I can watch this game? Mackenzie, are any of your plays in this Bulls game? And I know Mikey B is fond of that question. Mackenzie, your reaction?
Yeah, I mean, we have a decent amount of plays for almost every game on the slate. So SportsLine model does like Chicago plus a 12.5. So good news for Bulls fans here. Looks like the Knicks will be without Josh Hart, and OG is a game time decision. But they should have the slight edge on the boards without Hart, which always plays well in the model here. We also have Jalen Brunson over 1.5 steals, around plus 200 if you shop around, which I know is an anti-Bulls play, but a good plus money play and something fun to root for in person.
Mikey B?
If you want a pro Bulls play, Patrick Williams is out tonight. Now, he hasn't been great, but he is at least playing. So Buzelis should play more. They're going to do some 4-guard stuff, but then Buzelis will be their top forward. So maybe over his points, probably I think it's at 12.5. Last I looked, I would take the over on that.
Eric David says, love targeting overs on anyone playing the Bulls. PropStarz, go ahead.
I like fading Ao Don Samu. I know I just butchered that. But his points line is 13.5. I think that is a very solid under.
All right. Well, speaking of solid picks, PropStarz, it's your turn. What you got?
All right. I've got a prop I absolutely love, guys. It's Ja Morant to go over 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists. That's available on one major sports book. He's going to be more likely available at 34.5. Still a full unit play for me at that number. Having watched Ja, he got off to a really slow start this season, really struggled with nagging injuries. His playing time was inconsistent. The Grizzlies were being very careful with their franchise point guard, but really started ramping up prior to the All-Star break. He's eclipsed this in 3 of his past 4 games. He's only averaging less than 21 points per game on the season. Considering Ja over the past 3 seasons has averaged at least 25 points per game, I consider this a pretty significant discount, especially in this game environment where, 250-point total versus the Pacers. This is one of the biggest totals of the season. So I expect Ja to play 34 to 36 minutes. If this game's competitive, he has a chance to soar over this number. Looks to be in good form. I really think if he stays healthy, he and the Grizzlies are poised for a very big second half to the season. But I think he gets off to a good start in what should be a paced-up game with no shortage of possessions. And again, I believe we're getting a discount on this line considering his numbers are suppressed as a result of early in the season being injured, not performing particularly well. I love this spot for Ja to potentially have a ceiling game.
This number does seem a little low, PropStarz, now that you mention it. So I do think we're getting value for all the reasons that you just stated. Joseph Akers says, Sia, you selling tickets to the gun show, or is it free with a SportsLine subscription? That's a pretty good segue. SportsLine.com/join. Type in the promo code winners. You get 60% off the annual plan, which does include, by the way, tickets to the gun show. Here we go. Ben, 60% off the annual plan. Tell your friends. You all are members already. Tell your friends. SportsLine.com/join. It is not just a pick site. You all know that. It's articles. It is DFS plays. It's simulations. It's model plays, courtesy of Mackenzie Brooks and the SportsLine model. There is so much that this SportsLine membership has to offer, including the Discord. I was in the Discord giving out golf picks yesterday. First round leaders and outrights. PropStarz, go ahead.
Sia, I will be live in the Discord, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 o'clock Pacific time, chopping it up with anyone and everyone. Can't wait to break down tonight's slate. I'll also be on HQ tonight, and I'll also be attending the Blazers versus the Lakers. So if someone else is going to the game tonight, look for me, and hopefully we can say hello to each other.
It's always people on the West Coast that feel the need to give out the Pacific time as well. I mean, PropStarz, I get it, but I don't know that we need that. I'm an East Coast snob, though, so perhaps we do. Ladies and gentlemen, we got some SportsLine picks, one of which I think is incredibly interesting because it goes to this 4 nations tournament. USA, Canada, we're taking the under 5.5 goals at -130. Certainly some money coming in on this under. I believe it was -125 universally yesterday, but Matt Severance, he likes the under 5.5 goals. And then USC Maryland from JLC over 152.5 at -105. Again, USC Maryland over 152.5 at 105. Now, USA Canada, again, that one's going to be interesting, but perhaps more interesting is this BetMGM promo, because you know how we kind of miss first touchdown scores? Well, good news, because BetMGM is offering a first goal scorer promotion. USA versus Canada in the Four Nations Championship. It's tonight, folks. Pick the skater you think will light the lamp first in the game. If it's not your player, but he scores the second goal of the game, you get your stake back in cash. You only get that with BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Here's how it works. Place a first goal score bet. If your player scores the first goal of the game, you win, just like normal. If your player scores the second goal of the game, but not the first, you'll get your stake back in cash. It's really that simple. I mean, again, I missed the first touchdown thing. So this actually is something I am very much interested in. I'm also interested in Mackenzie's picks, and you might be interested in my golf pick. We're going to cover that right after this message from our partners.
We need your sports news anywhere.
We've got breaking news to bring you.
Then get your sports anytime you want them. Big trade news overnight to discuss.
Because we know you need sports all the time.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
A legend adds to their legacy.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, anywhere, anytime, all the time.
All right, we're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. Pacific time is easily the best, says Joe Neuenfeld, who actually lives in Las Vegas. We're all just very subjective. I totally get it, but I respect the West Coasters. Now, Mountain Time is the best. Underrated, says James Murphy. See, this is the analysis you don't get on the other shows. Mountain Time is underrated. Mackenzie, I'm curious what the model says about that. Okay, let me get into golf picks. I only have one for today. And again, golf picks can be kind of tricky. So here's what I want you to do. If you don't have access to this golf pick, I want you to tweet at me, ask in the SportsLine Discord. I will make sure I tend to the SportsLine Discord after this show for the next 30, 40 minutes. If you have a matchup or a three ball that you like, and maybe if you have some that you like because you don't have access to this pick, you put it in the chat and Ben will put it up for me. But I'm going with Akshay Bhatia over Patrick Rodgers. We've seen Patrick Rodgers play well, specifically last week. I do think there's going to be a come down from him coming off of contention in a pretty big tournament. And with all that said, when I look at the metrics, he's got great history here, by the way, and so does Akshay Bhatia. But when I look at the metrics, Patrick Rodgers on approach really hasn't been that great. He's great off the tee, so is Akshay Bhatia, but Bhatia's approach game is just so much cleaner than Patrick Rodgers. Patrick Rodgers really saved himself with the putter last week. I don't think he's going to get away with that this week. This one you can find over on DK under three ball matchups, not round three balls, but under three ball matchups, and you can isolate this specific matchup. I do like the minus 130 here. I also like a lean on Thorbjorn Olesen over, and I'm trying to remember what Patrick Fishburne. That is a lean for me. It's not an official play. This one is my official play. I'll probably have more golf picks tomorrow. I do want a day's worth of data today at the Mexico Open. I'll probably lean into another pick, maybe another three ball tomorrow. But again, let me know what picks you have at your site, and I can take care of those. Mackenzie Brooks, we need to take care of your picks. Are we going to the NBA today?
Yes, we're going back to the association here. I've told you, Sia, I want to get into the golf betting world and the NHL betting world. I'm really just a girl when it comes to those two sports, but maybe I need my safe sports there too. So just to be a fan. With that said, the NBA is not one of them. We're going to go right to the Sixers, me and Proppy's team here with Quentin Grimes to go under his PRA of 19.5. This is set as if the big three isn't back and playing, right? He's gone soaring over this in his last three games. Fine. Fair, including a 43 PRA. But again, that was without Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. So you see the other role players and you see their lines go down a little bit. For whatever reason, you're not seeing Grimes. So I think that's the player we take advantage of here. And even if that isn't the case, even if he does get the minutes that he has been getting, which would be a little odd in my opinion, Boston clearly is game plan from what he has done the past three games. So there's either regression to the mean of not soaring over this number and Boston, clamping him down, or it's just he won't have the sheer minute and the volume and the opportunities that he's had in recent games without Tyrese, Paul George, and Embiid playing. Then we are going to go to the Hawks here. The Hawks money line hosting the Orlando Magic. Now, let's not get it twisted. I do believe the Orlando Magic are a solid basketball team. However, on the road, we've had a lot of success this year fading this team. They're 10-19 ATS, but when we have a pick 'em line, I'd rather just go with the Hawks money line. You can find that around plus money now at BetMGM as well. Again, just fading the road splits. And while the Hawks aren't necessarily a better team at home, everyone should be at least 1 to 2 points better at home, even though they have a negative 2-point differential. So regression to the mean for them is just to play better at home. And again, the Magic are without Jalen Suggs again, 6-14 straight up without him since his injury. So they don't have that going for them. They're just not the best team on the road. So we might as well go with that plus money with the Hawks.
All right, plus money with the Hawks. I do want to go around the horn. PropStarz, I'm not sure if you're able to look at the chat. I'm not, but Mikey B, I don't know if you are. And I know Ben might put up some comments if you all have them in terms of questions, actually. There was a comment, though, from Stephen Cook. He said, what's the pop culture subject matter for today? We do tend to weave in pop culture moments. I do want to say this. When we talked about, I think it was 4 or 5 days ago. There it is. There's the comment. I talked about favorite SNL characters, and I left Chris Farley off my top 3. And it was kind of an accident, but I don't even know that he makes my top 3. He might be number 4. Can we just go around the horn? And Mackenzie, I don't know, maybe you're too young to appreciate the old SNL cast, so you can abstain if you want. I'm still going to go to you anyway. Mikey B, do you have a top 3 SNL, not characters, but actors?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Mike Myers, but that's simply because I love all the Austin Powers stuff and the Wayne's World. So he'd be on there for me. I really like Dana Carvey, too. I mean, he kind of flies under the radar a little bit. He does a lot of great things. And then, I mean, how can you not pick Eddie Murphy? When he was doing the impersonation of Tracy Morgan next to Tracy Morgan, they could have just done that for 2.5 hours. Watched it. It was fantastic.
It was great. By the way, Dana Carvey and Eddie Murphy were in the top 3 that I impromptu kind of gave out. If you have a top 3, put it in the chat. PropStarz, do you have a top 3 for SNL or no?
Sure. I think Bill Murray was an amazing cast member. Obviously, going to go with Bill Murray. I like all the old school guys. I think Chevy Chase was great, despite being problematic behind the scenes. So, yeah, let's go Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, and Adam Sandler.
No, those are a good 3. Mackenzie, are you too young for this topic? Do you have a top 3?
Not one that won't make you guys upset. Like my knowledge of SNL goes back very, very short, small. Regardless, right. You don't want to hear an answer from me. All
right, fair enough.
Like
Ian Lights Out says Norm Macdonald, Phil Hartman. Phil Hartman was my 3rd. So my 3 are already back out there. I do think Chris Farley, let's see, John Belushi, Eddie Murphy, Tim Meadows. I can't even place the face there. So maybe I'm not an SNL fan after all. That's from Richard Pierre. Mikey B, was there anything in the chat NBA related that you needed to address?
So we've done the Pampers parlay before. Somebody asked, I forget who it was, for a Chewy subscription parlay. So maybe they have pets. And they're looking to get some extra biscuit money. I haven't really looked at a parlay, but I do like laddering the Karl Anthony Towns points. Since he scored at least 44 points in both games against the Bulls, you could get him to score at least 35 points at like plus 340. So I don't mind putting a sprinkle on that.
All right. And Mackenzie, did you see anything in the chat that you needed to respond to?
No, but if anyone else is looking for a Lakers Trailblazers play, we have some good value and there's some solid plus money on Donovan Clingan to go over 2.5 blocks. And I only say that because based off his PRA, it seems like the ratio of blocks to PRA, the way that it typically is, like he should have enough minutes to clear this number as well, especially with Robert Williams, Grant's game time decision as well. Ayton's out, so could be a good plus money sprinkle there too.
Sia, how do we feel about Thorbjornsen over Manacero and Phillips at plus 145? Seems obvious, but I'll let you decide. Okay, so I know you're a big Thorbjornsen fan, Jeff Stenberg. I don't love that number at plus 145. I think it should be a little higher. In other words, longer, like plus 160, plus 170. Phillips is scary good. It's just a matter of whether he's in form. I think he had an injury earlier in the year, but he was really good on the KFT tour. He is somebody to keep an eye out for. Manacero, a lot of people like. I'm not one of them, but I don't know. Even though Thorbjornsen is probably the best course fit, although Phillips is a good course fit too, I would personally stay away from that one. I know you're a big Thorb fan though, so perhaps that's where you want to go. Sia, do you like Akshay Bhatia over Samuel Stevens? Yes. I don't love it at minus 125 though. Samuel Stevens, I mean, this is a guy I had a live bet on 3 weeks ago at 55-1 and he almost hit it. This is just one of those guys. His metrics aren't as good as his finishing positions as of late. I think these guys are comparable and I think Bhatia is better. His metrics are a little bit better, but I don't know that I'd lay minus 125 there. I think that should be closer. If you're going to take Bhatia there, I think it should be closer to minus 110 because I think they're very comparable. Let's see. I think I had another question to address, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, Bhatia 3-ball over Rogers and Rasmus Højgaard. I looked at that one. I would probably stay away from that one at plus 150 fantasy life. I think it's close. I would lean the Batia way, maybe a half a unit. I think that could be a good play there. That's what what I wanted to ask you, PropStarz. You're going to the Blazers game tonight. It's the Blazers-Lakers, correct?
That is correct.
By the way, we've got the poll up. Which time zone is best? Of course, probably more people in the Eastern time zone watching this for obvious reasons. It's a morning show, so East Coast time wins the poll here. Good stuff from Ben. Just your reaction to Luka and LeBron and the Lakers losing yesterday to the Hornets. Do you think this team is going to rebound and kind of be a force in the playoffs, or are we already seeing the problems, particularly defensively, that the Lakers might have?
I think this team is constructed. I don't like the way they're constructed. I think lacking a true rim protector and an interior defender is going to really be difficult for them. They're going to have to outscore a lot of teams. Obviously, Luka and LeBron together should be dynamic offensively, but Luka was playing terrible defense this season. The effort was somewhat questionable. Does not look to be in good shape either. So I think long term it's a good trade for the Lakers. Obviously, I think Luka will eventually get motivated here, but I don't think that they're going to be a contending team this season.
Maybe we're witnessing some of the frustrations that the Dallas Mavericks have. I'm not saying they should have made the trade, but I can see how ownership might be a little frustrated with what we see on the court, which is a guy that it's the middle of the season and doesn't appear to be in shape. Mikey B, before we close out, any response to what I just said?
Yeah, You're not going to be successful in the playoffs when Jackson Hayes is your starting center. I think that perfectly sums it up there. I know they got backed into a corner with the Williams trade not going through and the trade deadline passing, but you can't go into the playoffs with your two centers being Jackson Hayes and Alex Len. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean,
he was in street clothes last week.
Yeah, Mark Williams actually had a pretty good game yesterday too, so that didn't help. Settle a bad taste in the Lakers' mouth. Joker over 1.5 threes, says Scott Y. All right, we got a lot of picks in the chat, so obviously a lot of good cappers in the chat as well. Let's take a look at the recap screen before we get you out of here, folks. A lot of picks, a lot of NBA picks, but we'll start with golf. Akshay Bhatia minus 130 over Patrick Rogers. That's later on this afternoon. You still got a couple hours, and again, get in the SportsLine Discord or even tweet at me if you've got a 3-ball that you like. I'm going to respond to you within the hour. Karl Anthony Towns over 27.5 points at minus 110, and Caris LeVert over 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists at minus 105. Ja Morant, that's from PropStarz, over 33.5 points, rebounds, and assists at minus 125. And Mackenzie Brooks, Quentin Grimes under 19.5 points, rebounds, and assists at minus 105. And Hawks money line minus 102. And of course, we got some sports line picks. You're probably going to want to tune in to USA Canada. And do not forget about that BetMGM promo. First goal scorer bet. You get your money back if your goal scorer scores second. USA Canada under 5.5 goals, minus 130 from Matt Severance. And USC Maryland over 152.5 at minus 105 from JLC. What a great show. Thank you, Ben, for putting up all of the polls and putting up all of the questions and making this show look so good. Thank you, Mackenzie. Thank you, Mikey B. Thank you, PropStarz. We'll see you here tomorrow, same time, same place. A lot of content coming up, of course, on HQ and all of the CBS Sports outlets and platforms. I'll see you right here tomorrow in studio on The Early Edge. It's been a great show. On behalf of everybody here, this is The Early Edge. I'm the Counselor of Cash, and we rest our case.